Boneyard, 247 Sports, Gene's page. Steve Robertson joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, I think getting one is a monumental task for this team this weekend against Vandy with 11 arms back, and Corbin looks to be rolling after a slight dip coming off Mississippi State, beating Vanderbilt in the championship series 2 years ago. But to win two is that is a monumental challenge. Handicap it. We'll start with one. How do they get one this weekend?
Well, that's a good question. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how you pitch it this weekend. And what I mean by that is the rotation. Sunday is a TBD day, right? They have not announced a Sunday starter. I think some of that kind of relates to Nate Dome. If you can get through Friday and Saturday without having to use him, then he goes on Sunday. I just begin to wonder, though, if you ever get in a situation where you have a lead late, you got to use him, right? You simply have to. But if you can get into Sunday, I think State's offense is good enough to hit Sunday pitching. I think they've got a good chance to get that game. The rest of it kind of boils down to how well Vanderbilt does offensively, and that, of course, relates to can State throw strikes, or are they going to walk the ballpark? If they throw strikes, this Vanderbilt offense has been up and down a bit at times this year. They had a really good weekend against Ole Miss last week, and you kind of wonder, is that the anomaly or is that their identity? Because they have really struggled to swing the bat at times this year, hitting around, 280 or so? So we'll see. But I'm with you. They need to get – State needs to get to. But I think they're going to need some help from Vanderbilt in order to do that.
All right. So you mentioned Dome. People were asking about him earlier. And are you surprised Gerangelo is still going Friday?
No, I'm not. That kid's a freak. I'm not the least bit surprised that he's still going on Friday. And, last weekend was the first time he'd thrown a baseball game in his life in a temperature less than 70 degrees. It takes him a little while to warm up. You look outside of that first inning, he was absolutely outstanding. But, of course, that first inning counts. But I think now that he's had the experience, he's pitching back at home, I expect him to go out and produce a good start tonight. I'm eager to see how he does against this Vanderbilt lineup that does have some swing and miss in it. So I think Gerangelo gives you a good chance to win on Fridays. And if you had told me 2 months ago he'd be the Friday starter this year, I don't know that I'd have believed that. But here he is. He's acquitted himself really well.
Okay. What are your thoughts? We had a couple listeners that said put Gerangelo on Sunday. He'd be the best SEC starter or one of the best, if not the best, on Sunday.
Well, then you're just giving Friday away. I don't think you can afford to do that. I think you just got to put your best options out there on Friday and Saturday and figure it out on Sunday. I think moving him to Sunday, you're basically just kind of waving the white flag on Friday. I still think Nate Dome needs to be in a starting rotation, and I think now with Nixon getting healthy, and yes, I know he had a little struggle on Tuesday, but he's fine. He's going to be fine. He's just a little bit rusty. But again, getting Nixon back on the back end of that bullpen gives you options with Nate. We discussed it on your show before. You get him back, all of a sudden, Nate becomes a guy that maybe can get you 5 or 6 as a starter. I think Gartman's a guy too. I think you pair those two together just because it's a different look. It's a different look. It's a different velo. It's a different arm slot in many respects. But I think there's a place for everybody. But I think if I had to go fill out a lineup card today for the weekend and everybody's available to me, I think my rotation is Gerangelo, Lofton, and Dome.
Don't miss one moment of the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Weekdays, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.